Hi, Barry Thompson from boatmags.com down here in sunny Lake Wakatipu in Queenstown. Today we're looking at the Mclay 651 Crossxover. Now you would have seen this boat at the New Zealand Boat Show in 2016 with a full bulkhead, but since then they've come out with a different model. It's the same boat essentially but without the bulkhead. The wheelhouse model is still available. I personally like the openness. I think the wheelhouse is something in sort of 8 metres plus. It's definitely the place to have it. I like the big open expansion, and they've sold a number of these boats to Australia, and that's exactly what they want. They want the open boat. So what is a crossover boat? Mclay calls it, having the fishing family boat with the safety aspects of the pontoon boat. The boat is foam filled from chine to chine, gunnel to gunnel, bow to stern. And what this does, it gives them level flotation if flooded. So you've got all that safety aspect built into the boat. Transom area, really well designed, huge bait station, drawer underneath, and how about that? Out of the way when you don't want it, room for fishing, there when you want to come back. 2 adults, 3 kids, no problem at all. So that's a great feature, that's a standard feature in the boat. This side here, port side, live bait tank, good access to that. Drop down door and a 2-step ladder for divers and water skiers and wakeboarders come back on board. Good size platform here, so if you put a cage around here, this part of it, great place to do your fishing from as well if you don't want to have the mess inside the boat. But then this is a fishing boat, it's aluminium, a bit of blood and guts ain't going to hurt. Boat's rated about 150, 200 horsepower. We've got the new Mercury 200 Pro 4-stroke with the electronic controls and the power steering. Very economical at low speeds, particularly if you're trolling, and gives you plenty of boogie up the top end. It's got great torque right through the range. Like most Mclays, got a large underfloor fuel tank there in the middle. Good sitting coaming, so you're sitting here fishing. Good for diving if you want to get over the side. Plenty of space, got 4 rod holders built in. They're welded into the 2 on each side. Side trays, but if you've got longer rods and they won't fit, you've got 8 rod holders above on the rocket launcher. And like all the other Mclay's hard tops, good handhold and a towing eye here for your wakeboard or your tubes. Generous handholds here, so you're coming back in and you've got, you need something to hang on to, which is great. The seating in this is the standard seating, and it's pretty well what they put in all of them. You can have pedestals and various arrangements. This is the most popular. Starboard side here, lift up, the life jacket's in here. It's got a false floor, so if you wash the hull, washing out the cockpit here, you're not getting the water in here, it just goes underneath. On the other side, over to port, got a pull-out 80 litre chili bin or isky, depending what country you're in. That's great, and that's good for your bait or food and so forth. And of course the seats swivel as well. Totally you end up with 7 seats, which is probably more the maximum you're going to take away in the boat for a day's fishing. The dashboard here, typical of an aluminium boat, you can really do what you like, but they've got it nicely all covered with fabric, so you get rid of that raw aluminium feel inside, quite warm. And again, the layout here is really determined on the size of your screen that you put on. This is a Simrad NSS 9, so they put that in first, and then you've got your Sav winch controls, your electro tab, and your SmartCraft gauges and so forth. So again, very personalised, just what you do with that. Got sliding side windows, a little bit of air, fresh air in. Toughened glass windows with wipers, both sides, so you can see. I don't like them on one side because you can't see what's coming from over there. The VHF ICOM stereo, the Fusion with the speakers and LED lights, cabin lights. On the port side, a double layer glove box, lower one here with a hatch on it. Open one here, which is really cool because it's all lined, and you throw your keys and your cell phone and your sunnies and maybe a handheld VHF even if you have it, and they don't move anywhere, and they're nice and waterproof and out of the way. Right, now it's more of a cuddy in here. It's not really designed to stay overnight. I mean, kids would be okay in here, and there's a good place for gear. We've got a couple of good features. Fully plumbed in toilet under here, that's an option of course. It's up to you whether you want to put that in or not. There's also an optional infill here, not in this boat. Storage under all the squabs, reasonably good sitting headroom, lights inside for night, and a couple of side trays for a little bit of gear, all fully lined, which is great, and a sliding door. Now we've got the typical Mclay South Island bow ladder, which is great when you're coming into the beach. That folds out again, obviously. But what I like, how about this? This Sav winch, drum winch. And these are stainless steel. And with the drum winch, you get a lot more warp and tackle on than your standard capstan, which drops everything in there. And so you don't have to have the depth as much to get the same amount of warp and chain. Well, that's the Mclay 651 Crossxover. Great little boat. I think it's a good addition to the crossover fleet. I explained what a crossover was. It's a slight difference between the other Mclay boats. It comes standard with a lot of features, like it's painted, it's got stripes on it, all fully lined, very, very nicely finished, very well built, obviously. And I think it's going to be a great addition to the Mclay fleet, but also I think it'll be a good seller in both New Zealand and Australia. It's got to have a market on both sides of the Tasman.